Thank you. All right, let me get busy. Screen. Okay, I'm finally getting smart to this. I think I'm learning this better. If I say screen, I can pick whatever I want, correct? So, hold the thought. And where I was. I don't know where I am. Shoot. Sorry, I thought I was logged into Codio, and I guess I'm not. Dagnabbit. Oh, here we go. This isn't good TV. You can't have long periods of silence on TV or radio. So this isn't too cool. Okay. I take it everyone is going to Codio, correct?
Correct.
Right. So in software testing, I think I have raised up to the top two things. One says Black Box Testing 1, which is our next assignment, and Decision Table Editor. And the Decision Table Editor is a tool that you're going to use to complete the assignments. So why don't we take a quick look at that so we can see. Please open that up and we'll browse around together. As I do the lecture today, you will see decision tables come up. So I will give you a picture of one, and we will talk about it for a moment, and you will see, that's a piece of cake. So the DTP means a printed decision table. If I look at DTB, DTB means decision table. If I look at this, it's kind of, it's a text file, okay? But if we look at the picture, it's a picture. And it looks like there's a column that says, here's some, said a different way. The top part of the table, up here identifies different conditions that the program must correspond to. If I'm paying someone, there's two different ways I do it. One, if his hours is less than or equal to 40, and another way if the hours is greater than 40. So in the case that the hours is less than or equal to 40, I do my computation according to this rule, to this action right here. If this is false, I will drop down and do the overtime. So the programs that you're going to be testing, you're going to have to understand how they work and construct the decision table. Once you have a decision table, I will show you how to create test cases. So starting today, I'm giving you a systematic way to create test cases instead of just making them up, right? Now, let's go to the other one where it talks about the assignment so we can see what we're going to be doing next. Annotate.
Dr. Jones.
Yes.
Maybe you explained this, but can you go a little bit more in depth and elaborate?
No, not now, no. Okay, some of that will be in the lecture as we go forth. And some of this, I need y'all to just use your brain and figure this out, okay? This is not hard stuff at all, so let's not make it hard. Don't make it hard, okay? You guys have already shown quite an ability to figure stuff out, and I'm very happy at that. You will never know how happy I am over that. Come on. Okay, now let's go to Black Box Testing 1, see what it's about. Always read the description, the directions. As usual, whenever you go in here, always make sure that the seashell is working. Make sure that's working. This time you're going to be given different programs. And what I'm giving you is not programs, is not the code, but a specification, a description of what it's supposed to do. All right, it's not the code yet. Because you got to use your brain. You got to say, aha, this thing is supposed to do this. I can make up a test case and I know what it ought to give me as an answer. You can't cheat by running a program to get an answer. You got to figure it out yourself, okay? And here's how the assignments are partitioned out. Now, some of these are really hard. I'm going to be honest with you. Number 3 is the hardest one, okay? It's a challenging one. It's probably not impossible. It's not impossible, but it's probably one of the more challenging ones. All right.
Lord.
So what are we going to do? You've got to read the spec, construct a decision table, and please go out of your way to construct the tables well. It is not. It's very easy to do a decision table any kind of way where it doesn't help you. It's hard to get them just right, and we will learn as we try how to get them better and better, all right? Now, based upon the decision table, you're going to create some test cases. Functional test cases really mean if the program does overtime, you got to make sure you test overtime. If it does non-overtime, you got to make sure it tests non-overtime. So each of these things we talked about last time, like different ways the program behaves, you got to make sure you test each one of those behaviors. You can't leave any out. Okay. So we're going to make some test cases. Then we're going to develop some boundary test cases. I will show you today, we will start the discussion of how to create boundary test cases. Again, if you are starting off with a decision table, it's very easy to do boundary test cases if you have a decision table. So I will need you to create 2 TCI files, one for the functional test cases, one for the boundary test cases. Okay, don't mix them up together quite yet. And I will give you some demos for all these programs that will tell you what the output looks like. Everybody remembers from the previous assignment, picking out the actual answer is kind of the hardest part about the script, wasn't it? Wasn't that the hardest part? Picking up the actual answer, because you got to parse it, you got to know what it looks like. So I will share that with you later. In the meantime, you need to get ready to write another testing script. And this time I need us to extend what we have so that you now take some arguments. Right now it takes the tester, but you need to add to that the name of the file that is going to be executed, the name of your TDI file, and the name of your UTR file. If you add these as arguments, it gives you greater flexibility in how you can use your automation. Your automation isn't locked into specific things anymore. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
And later on, I'm going to give you different versions of these programs to test. So you basically will have to run your test script over and over again with different versions. Does that make sense? With different versions of the program. And I will be judging how well your test cases are in determining whether something is working. So I will give you some programs that work okay, some that have bad errors in them, and your testing should reveal that. Make sense? So I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Any questions yet? Okay, just stay calm. Let's get to the lecture real fast, and some of these things that I'm throwing at you will become a little clearer. Now, I I did not post lecture stuff. I got too busy with other stuff. I had to find these assignments. So I will be sure to post the lecture I'm working on, but it will be after class. So let's go. All right. Let's go. Okay. Okay, is this the right one? Yeah. We're going to go through an example. Shoot. That's too bad. Okay, good. All right. So how do we test? We look at the specification, we study it, we identify the behaviors, and we develop test cases based on the behavior. And then we write our test engine, okay, which we know how to do. Here's an example, and this is the very same example that you see in the decision table. The spec is pretty simple. We did this last time. The spec is simple, and we said there were two cases, overtime, not overtime, and we're going to create some test cases. This is how we did it last time, all right? This time, we're going to take another version of this. This time, you got hourly employees, salaried employees, and all that. We did this last time. But then we ended up by saying, let's have a decision table that identifies all of these behaviors. Because it turns out this program has 4 different things it's got to do. First column says, I am an hourly employee and I work less than or equal to 40 hours, so you pay me straight time. Second behavior, I'm an hourly employee, second column over here. I'm an hourly employee. I'm an hourly employee and I work overtime, so you got to pay me overtime. Third behavior is I'm salaried and I work less than or equal to 40 hours. You pay me my professional rate, 40 hours. The other one is I work overtime, but you still got to pay me the same thing. And these are the 4 things we have to test for. Got to make sure we test for each one of these things to confirm that the behavior is okay. Now, why don't we do this? This is going to be a little messy. We're going to flip back and forth a little bit. I hope it doesn't eat up our time. Let's go into Codio, into the decision table, and let's modify what's in the decision table to match this. Yeah. Let's try it. I hope it doesn't blow up. Most demos blow up. Y'all know that, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, most demos do.
But let's not do it. Dang. You can't cuss. You can't cuss. Where's my stuff?
Dr. Jones, this would be under the it wouldn't be under black box.
It's the decision table.
Okay.
That's where the tool is. And why can't I find my code? Here it is. Okay, good. Whew, different browser. So I'm going to go back into the decision table editor. Do you see an executable file there?
Yeah, DTE.
How do you know it's executable?
Because it has a C run extension at the end of it.
You got it, man. You got it. So let's run it. /DTE C run. Notice that we already have a version of the pay in there. So we're going to load that. This is a very crude editor. This thing was done 15 years ago, maybe almost 20 years ago. So it doesn't have a GUI, so it has a basic little text interface. And what we need to do is open up a decision table and we just say open. It's case insensitive. The name of the decision table is just the name of the program. It's just pay. Pay. And when you do that, you will see the thing we saw in the lecture notes. This may not work. Oh boy. We got to go fast. I'm going to try. What was the difference between what we see? You guys are seeing me, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. You can't be cussing, man. You can't cuss in front of children. You can't cuss in front of children. Can't do that. Can't do that. Okay. What changes do we need to make to this thing? What changes do we need to make? In our PowerPoint, we saw that there were there was another variable, right?
Let me see.
Right here, PowerPoint. You seeing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have another variable. We have another condition. We have another condition. In the present decision table, we're only talking about hours. Now we got to add in this thing about rates. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go from where we are to this. So let's give it a run. This thing is gonna make me cuss. See, it's gonna make me cuss because I'm everywhere. This thing has got me everywhere. What did I tell y'all about demos? Don't do demos. Don't. Okay. Am I here? This is wasting time. We're wasting time. We're wasting time. Wasting time. Come on, man. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to, I don't manage my desktop worth a dime. Okay. We need to go into, we need to add a condition. So the decision table is broken into 4 pieces, okay? One is called conditions. It's what you see over here in the orange, the top part. The other is called actions. That is what you do when certain things are true. The third part is the rules. That's the columns over here where you have yeses and nos, the combinations of things. And we have metadata, which is really just your variables. Just your variables. So we need to add a condition, don't we? So let's first open up, and we're going to call it pay. It only has one condition. We need to add one more. So how are we going to do that? We're going to say I want to edit conditions. So just put a C. This is not hard at all. It's just very intuitive and kind of dumb, but let's work it. I want to add a condition, and the condition is what? Rate. Whoa. Got to make sure my variables match. It's pay rate is less than 30. Okay? And right now we have added the condition, but we haven't used it yet. Is that clear? We have pay rate, but we have not used it in our computation yet.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Since we haven't used it, is that why it has question marks?
Yes, it means you got to put something there. You either got to
Okay.
clear it, yeah, you got to do something with it. Okay. So, in this case, notice that what we have in here is how we handle salaried employees, right? Everything that we have in here, hourly employees. What we have here is the way we handle hourly employees. So why don't we just clean this up so that for, if these are hourly employees, where these 2 question marks are, must be 2 yeses, right? The table we have was for hourly employees. Overtime, non-overtime. Pay rate less than 30 means you're an hourly employee.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Mhm.
So we need to modify this column 1 to say yes, yes, and keep everything else.
Estava sumindo mesmo, né?
Is that clear? This should be
De volta. Ainda bem, eu tava com saudade de você aí.
I shouldn't be using
E aí,
class
como
time
está a
for this.
família e tudo?
This could be a mistake using class time for this because we're going to get to other stuff we need to do. This thing is making me mad. It's making me crazy. Y'all need to teach me how to use this thing, man. I just want the cursor, the mouse. That's all I want, okay? So what I'm saying is that, do I have it? Do I have a cursor on this thing? Oh. This is making me so dang mad. I just want the mouse. Give me the mouse. Do I have a mouse? Am I here?
You're by 2 where it says pay rate 30, pay rate less than 30.
Okay, but it doesn't show up on me. I don't see it. These 2 question marks must be changed to yes because we are dealing, the table as it existed was for hourly employees. So how do we change something? We need to, so what we have here, again, this is very crude. I want to get out of modifying condition. I want to get out of that and go back. Who's talking? Who's talking? Who's talking? Is that Spanish? Is that me?
Pierre, can you mute yourself?
Let's mute.
Dr. Jones, you may have to just go ahead and mute him. I don't think you can.
I don't know who it is.
It's Pierre.
He's so much trouble. How can one person be so much trouble? Okay. He probably heard me. Okay. So this is not hard. We must say I need to edit these rules. The rule is the yes and no combinations and the X combinations, the columns over here. So I need to say I need to edit a rule. So I'll just say R, a rule, and I need to modify it. Again, this is pretty ugly. I want to modify the first one, and I think I could keep it the same, but I'm not sure I want to try that. I'm going to keep it the same, see if it stays. I guess I got to say something, tag on it. So say yes. And the next one was a question mark, you should say yes. And as I go to the actions down below the bar, action 1, I want to keep it the same. So I guess I got to say X again. I'm not sure if I have to. I need to leave that blank. If you want to leave it blank, type a B. And so where am I? You notice that the first rule has been changed to yes, yes, and then do it. I got to do the same thing for the second one. Okay. So let me see what it's, let me quit and go back to a rule. We actually have a Java version of this program that doesn't take you through all this, but I can't find it. All right, so we're going to modify it. Modify rule number 2, and we're going to say no and yes and blank. I think you can just hit enter to keep what you had, but I'm not sure. So by now we have the table kind of straight. To make these tables the same, what else is missing? What else is missing?
Oh, there's one more decision. We have to have where it says A3 pay equals professional.
Yeah. So we need another action, right?
Yes, we need another action.
So let's quit. So we do actions, right? I want to edit an action. I want to add an action. There are currently 2 actions. And the action now is what? What's my variable? Pay equals. By the way, the actions are pretty much assignment statements. Is that clear?
Yes.
40 times rate, pay rate. That's the action. I think we put semicolons. Yes, we do.
Hold up. Dr. Jones,
What?
wouldn't oh, I see what you did. I see what you did.
Okay. So we basically have added another action. What else do we need? Let me remind you the notation. These guys over here are called rules, all the way down. Okay. A whole column is called a rule. And what you do is based upon the combinations of things that's true, right? So what do we need to add now? I want you to use the word. What do you need to add?
You need to add the well, it's still another action. We need to define the behavior where it says like 1 or 2.
Okay. Up here it says edit. What do I need to edit? A condition, an action,
What
a
action?
variable, or a rule? Rule.
Rule. I'm sorry. Yeah.
We need a new rule. So let's say we need a rule. And we want to add one. What's the rule?
What's that?
Hours less than or equal to 40. What it's saying is we can say yes and no, right? If it is, yes. Pay rate less than 30, we're going to say no, right?
Right.
Okay. And what's the action? What's the rule we're going to use? Are we going to use this rule if they're salaried? No. So put a blank. You probably got to say a capital B. This thing is a little sensitive. It's a little sensitive. And we need to say X here. Capital X means do it. If I'm salaried, pay me 40 hours. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. What's the next thing? I think it's kind of weird. Okay, it says a little weird. It's kind of jumping. Okay, what do we need to edit? Everybody got to say it together. What do we need to edit?
Need it.
We need to edit a rule. Am I making myself clear? 1, 2, 3. These are the rules, right? 1, 2, 3. Under these conditions, I do this. Under these set, I do this. Under these set, I do that. So we need to add a rule because there are 4 rules. So we need to add a rule, edit a rule, add it. And what do we care about? Hours less than or equal to 40. We don't care. Even if it's no, we're going to say no. Pay rate is less than 30. We're going to say no. And we're going to ignore this, and pick that. So the last 2 rules, rules 3 and 4, are for salaried people. And it's saying if you work less than or equal to 40 hours, you get paid for 40. If you work more than 40 hours, you get paid for 40. And this completes the specification for pay. Is everybody with that? You're going to have to play with this a little bit to get it to work. But that's all I can say. Let me keep moving. So with this, you need to get out. And you probably need to say, we can do 2 things. We can do file things now. We can save it. I don't think save exits. Let's print it first. No, let's save it first. Save it. You have a name. We're going to say pay to. So we have two versions of it now. And now we're going to print it. When you print it, you will notice that there's a file called DTP. It's a decision table print file, okay? If you looked at it, it better be what we think it is, okay? DTB is what we just saw. What am I getting at? For the coming assignment, one of your deliverables is a decision table, all right?
Okay.
We're going to show you in a minute how to use this decision table to create test cases. Did I hear a question? Did I hear a question?
No.
Okay, good. All right, and with this, we can quit. We can get out of there. Now, the tool is kind of crude, but as we're going to see in the days ahead, it has a lot of power for automating things. If I can find all my pieces, okay? Now let's get back to the lecture. Let me be clear. For the assignment you're going to be given, you're going to have to create a decision table. Most of you, your decision tables will be about as hard as this, will be about as complicated as this. Some of yours may get twice as big, but it will not be humongous, okay? Won't be humongous. And it's important that you talk to one another and share what you've done and discuss it between yourselves. And if something is too rough for you, you can always contact me. Okay, now let me put my attention back on the lecture. Let's roll. Why is this thing trying to talk to me all the time, all the time, all the time? Oh, mercy. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. All right. If I had you in class, I would make you do this. I would make you do this problem. Let's read it together. I got a drug for a patient, and the rules about dosage is based upon the patient's age and weight. Okay? So if you're 12 and under, you get 1 pill. If you're over 65, you get 2 pills. For all other patients, the dosage is 2 pills plus an extra pill for every 50 pounds above 120. And the drug cannot be given to a patient over 300 pounds or over the age of 80. Okay? This is a specification for a program. Tell me what you know about this computation here. How many inputs?
Well, you know the age ranges, so you can make sure that so if a patient is,
You're going too fast. You're going too fast. No, I asked a simpler question. How many inputs? Don't say anything more. How many inputs?
Seems like 2.
How many outputs?
1.
Okay, that's the number one thing you got to know. Y'all with me? So in terms of the decision table, the goal of this is to calculate the output, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have names for your variables? What are your input variables?
Age and weight,
What's the output variable?
dosage.
Pills. You say pills. Pills is good enough. Are we clear? So if I were to make a decision table here, wouldn't I have to say I need 2 input variables and 1 output?
Yeah.
You see where I'm heading? You
Mhm.
first identify what's the variables, and you set those up in your decision table. What's the data type? They're pretty much integers, right? Yeah, all these are whole numbers.
Correct.
So when you start with your decision table, you have the ability to create your variables, to declare which ones are for input, which ones are for output. So I think that part is done, right? Go back to your decision table tool. Go back in, start it up. We're not going to do this sitting here. We're just going to take a look. I need all of y'all to do this now. I need all of y'all to do it. Okay. So if you start the tool up all over again, what's the first thing you're going to edit?
We're gonna edit. We're gonna edit the condition.
No. What's a condition? Isn't a condition in terms of your variables?
Yes.
So what you got to do first?
We got to open something.
No, there's nothing to open. You're starting something from scratch.
We got to create it.
Yes, but how do you create it? Okay, guys, look. Just relax. Edit means the parts of this decision table that you can edit is the conditions, the actions, the rules, and the metadata. What does metadata mean? Variables, the variables, guys, the variables. Can I write a condition if I don't have a variable?
Nope.
Can I write an action without variables?
Mm-mm.
No. So the first thing you got to do is establish the variables. What question did we ask when we were looking at the pills? Didn't we say how many inputs, how many outputs? Didn't we say what type of variables, what type of variable is it, and what you're gonna call them? Didn't we say that?
Yes.
So the first thing you're gonna do is set up the metadata. We're not gonna do that right here, okay? We can't do it. Don't have time. But that's the first part. Then the conditions are in terms of the metadata. Does that make sense? Right? Because, okay, let's pick out the conditions now. What are the conditions we're going to be looking at?
If they are under 12, then they should get 1 pill.
No. Okay, I know you're anxious, but you need to answer what I'm asking. You're going beyond what I'm asking. I'm asking, what are the conditions? You're saying, what are the conditions and what are the actions? Do you realize you're putting those together?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
Don't combine them. Let's do conditions. So we're not going to do that. So what do we say the conditions are? What are they? Conditions are just relational expressions. What are they?
Age and weight.
No, those are the variables. What's the conditions?
If age is less than 12.
That's one condition. You understand? That's all. What's another?
If age is greater than 12.
No. I can always say no. If I look at this, I can say yes to mean it's true. I can say no when it's false. I don't need to list it twice. If I list a condition, I can automatically negate it by saying no. Is that part clear?
Or if patients are over 65.
Yeah. What else? Are there any more conditions related to age?
No.
Y'all speak up. Are there any more conditions related to age?
Over 18.
Yeah. And you write the conditions like that. That's how you write them, okay?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't see that one.
That's okay. It's okay. That's why we got many eyes. Now, that's one variable. What about the other?
Weight.
What other input variable do you have?
Weight.
So are there conditions regarding weight?
Yes.
Like what?
You're saying that if the let me see. Well, they're talking about if a patient is above 120 pounds. So if a patient is under 120, weight is under 120.
Huh?
You're saying if weight is under 120?
I don't know about that. Let's do the one that's crystal clear. What's the one that's crystal clear?
Over 300.
Who's talking? I don't need the same person talking all the time now.
This
Come on now. Huh? Who's
I said
doing all the talking? Is that Armani doing all the talking?
I'm gonna stop.
You stop. That's right. Okay? We have a condition that says something over that. Now, is there anything else? For the time being, that seems to be it, right? What kind of actions do we take? What are possible values for pills? What are they? Just read it. The spec tells you.
1 or 2.
1 or 2. Yeah.
Sometimes pills equals 1. Sometimes pills equals 2. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes pills equals what? Are y'all seeing me type?
Oh,
Are y'all seeing this? Are y'all seeing me type?
Yes.
yes, sir.
If I come in there weighing 400 pounds, they're going to tell me to walk away. They're going to say you don't get any pills. Is that true? What's the last statement say? You can't be give it to a person who's over 300 pounds or over 80. So it is possible that the number of pills is a 0. Correct?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Saying something. Huh?
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
what's the last thing? The complicated thing says what? What's the complicated way of figuring out how many pills they have? I need to see y'all's faces now. Y'all acting like you're a class full of undergrads here. I got all kind of folks sitting up in here. Let me look y'all in the eye. Let me look you in the eye. I cannot control this thing. I cannot control how I look at y'all. But I cannot do this. I still don't know how to view y'all in that. Oh, no cussing, y'all. No cussing, no cussing. All right, let me look at you jokers. Let me see your faces. I gotta see you. Are y'all engaged at all, or y'all just watching me?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
we are here.
answer. I'm being rough a little bit. Answer my question then. When we say you get no pills, 1 pill, 2 pills, or then we got to calculate how many pills you get. Is that true?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do we calculate how many pills a person gets?
That's based on the age and the weight.
But tell me the formula. How do I write it? What do I write down? I'm sorry. I need about 5 screens. Otherwise, you got to calculate the number of pills. Isn't that what this thing is saying? You got to calculate it. What is it? What does it say? The next to the last sentence says what?
Yeah, it said for all patients, the dosage is 2 pills plus an extra pill for each 50 pounds above 120.
Okay. So it is, how do you say that? Aha, how do you say that?
It's going to be 2 pills plus, and that's going to be 300 minus 300.
Not 300, but weight. Whatever that weight is.
Weight, yeah, minus 120.
Divided by
50.
50. Okay? Is that it?
Yeah.
Now let's make sure we're clear. Is it clear that these are the actions? This is the action the program will take. It will take one of these 4 actions. What are these guys up top? What do we call those? These are the, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. These are the conditions. Correct? And there's a combination of these conditions that cause these actions to occur. Got it? I'm okay. In a math book, it says the rest of this is left to the reader. So I'm gonna say y'all finish this. You ought to be able to finish this decision table, because you've got to get the rules that connect the conditions with the actions. Okay. So I'm gonna let that go for now. Okay. Am I gonna give you a solution if I turn you loose? I probably will. I am pathetic. Okay. What is this thing gonna do? Ah, shoot, I can't cuss. Can't cuss, I can't cuss. If y'all had the notes, y'all would see this stupid decision table right over here, wouldn't you? Are y'all seeing it?
Yes, we can see it.
The doggone shame, because all we've done is okay, is it clear that your best tool in this thing is your brain? The decision table doesn't take your brain out of the picture. Am I making sense? The stuff we did on a piece of paper that says, read the problem and circle all the conditions, circle all the actions, is what you got to do. Then we can put it in the decision table. But think it through before you try to do the decision table. It's like the decision table is like coding. If you try to code before you think, you never get the code right. Okay, so it looks like the decision table has these conditions, and somewhere along the way, oh, I don't think I did all that for you. I love that. I love it. I love it. I did not do all that for you because you have to complete this. Is that clear? You've got to say when is pills equal to 0. It's some combination of these things here. All right. All right. What am I doing? Am I going over the same thing over again? No, I'm not. Okay. Let me take a 2-minute smoke break. I'll be right back. Okay, my smoke break was short. Okay, now let's connect some dots. Let's go back to the decision table for pay that we had. I'm going to show you something very straightforward, and it has to do with, is everybody here?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we are.
Yes.
Okay. What I'm getting ready to show you is how to generate test cases if you have a decision table. The rule is very simple. You must have a test case for each one of these columns, for each of these rules. So you need to make up some data where the rate is less than 30 and the hours is less than or equal to 40. And those are your inputs. The action that is fired when these two things are true, when this combination is satisfied, will tell you how to calculate the answer. So if I put in 20 and 20, it should come out as 20 and 20, 400, right? So my test case would be 20, 20, and 400. Second rule, if I want to say the rate is less than 30 and hours is not greater than that, like I say it's $10 an hour and I work 50 hours, so 10, who understands what I'm saying? Who understands what I'm saying? Use a decision table to create your test cases. And all I'm saying is, for the first rule, you would say, I need to pick a number. Just pick a number. What about it? It's got to be less than 30, so I can pick that. I can pick hours. It has to be 40 or less. I can say 20 hours. Those are the values of rate and hours. And I expect the time to be, you get paid for the hours you work. So I expect the result to be 400. That's my first test case. Second test case, I need rate to be less than 30, that's 10. I need for hours not to be less than or equal to 40. I'll use 50 to keep the number simple, okay? And I expect $550, right? I get paid for 40 hours at 10, that's 400, and I get 10 hours at 15, so that's 550. All right, give me a test case for the third rule. Third rule, come down the third column. What's another good test case? Give it to me. Somebody say something.
For the third, that would be hours. That would be hours greater than Let me make sure. Yeah, that would be hours greater than 40.
No, I wish I had y'all in the classroom. Okay, I wish I had you in the classroom. I'm not sure what y'all are seeing. You understand? My frustration. I don't know what y'all are looking at. Are y'all looking at this decision table here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in the slide, yes.
What am I doing? I'm going down the column. Yes, yes. That's how I did the first test case. Yes and no is how I did the second test case. The third test case is based on this third column here. So I need to pick a value for rate. What is it? Just pick
40.
one. There's no magic one.
40.
Huh? 40,
40.
okay? 40. Next thing, I got to pick a value for hours, but it has to be less than or equal to 40. Why don't we make it 10 so we can do the math? That okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we expect how much? You get paid, professional means you get paid for 40 hours. So we expect 400, no, we expect 1,600, right? Is what we expect. Now, notice that unfortunately on the slide here, it doesn't have the detail that you have in Codio, does it? In Codio, I had real expressions down here about how you calculate these things. All right, what's the last test case? Where are you going to get that from?
The fourth column.
Thank you so much. You got to think that way. That's the fourth rule in my decision table. It's the fourth behavior that we got to try to get. So what's some numbers?
You said rate is 50. What?
Okay, that's good. That's good. And what else?
Hours are
100.
yeah.
Okay, it's not less than or equal to 40. You had a hard week, man. How much money is he going to get?
Okay, what is his rate? 50 times 40 hours?
That's all you're going to get, right? He's going to say, I gave you a $5,000 week, but you're going to give me $2,000, right? Because the week before, I worked 10 hours and you gave me a whole week's pay, okay? All right. Is everybody catching on to this? If I give you a decision table, you ought to be able to say, I'm going to make a test case for the first rule, second, third, and fourth. But I've got to choose data that satisfies the condition. How we looking? Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. You're still the only one talking, but thank you. I need somebody to talk, man. Preacher in church is wearing himself out. Nobody say amen. He'd go home and cry. I tried my best, baby. I tried my best. Nobody responded. Nobody responded. Okay. All right. Next, I'm going to show you how to also use the decision table to come up with boundary testing. Okay. Let's talk about boundaries. If I have a condition rate less than 30, there's a certain value at which this condition changes from true to false or from false to true. Is that clear to everyone? So let's play a little game here. Let's play a little game. If I say rate is 29, what is the condition, true or false? C1, if I say my rate is 29, is the condition true or false?
True.
True.
True. If I say 30, is it true or false?
False.
False. If I say, I'm gonna try one more. If I say 31, is it true or false?
False.
False.
Anything above 30, I'm gonna stay on the false side, right?
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff over here is false. And in some respects, all the stuff over here is true, right? So the boundary point is really the place at which something changes from true to false. And a lot of coding errors have to do with the boundary. What if I went in here and had written my code to say if I'm not sure this is effective, but if I had said if rate less than or equal to 30, then some stuff, okay? That's a common coding error. Where would the true and false be now? Where would this thing switch from being true to false? If I gave it a 30, it would still be true, wouldn't it?
Yes.
This is what I coded.
Yes.
So many errors in coding have to do near those boundary points where a condition changes from true to false or false to true. And you got to always test that. So there are two tests that you need to make sure that you include for rate here. You need to make sure you include a rate of 29. If these are real numbers, if these are decimal numbers, you don't really want to say 29. You probably want to say 29.99. Is that true?
Yeah.
Because decimal places matter if you're talking about dollars and cents.
Yes.
Okay. If these were integers, you would certainly try 29 and you would try 30. You expect it to be true for 29, but false for 30. Okay. In each of these conditions, you can come up with some values that you want to make sure that you include in your testing. So we're going to switch our attention to that. I probably, come on, stop this, stop. This wears me out. This annotation stuff wears me out. Goodness. Okay, and I think I've messed everything up. Okay, let's go. Let's jump ahead. We're going to talk about boundary testing. Okay. And it's based upon the notion that for given conditions, there are certain things you got to always consider. If I have a condition that's inclusive, then I need to test at the boundary. In this case, you're at the boundary at 40. You're at it. You want to test inside the boundary. Inside really means where it is true. And you want to test just outside the boundary. So there are 3 values of hours you need to use in your test cases. Is that part clear? You want to make sure that you respond properly at the boundary. You need to make sure you respond properly when you're just inside the boundary and just outside. Inclusive inequalities have 3 different boundary points that you need to consider. What about exclusive inequality? X greater than Y. What points do we need to check for? We want to, this may be a little too complicated. This is too complicated, but I will try to check. Let me make sure. Foot. Okay. If it's not inclusive, you got to worry about being just inside and just outside. Just inside means the value of Y that's just bigger than X. Just outside is a value of Y that is, that's the opposite, okay? And a simple, I'm doing this bad, okay? I'm gonna turn off the recording. If you have, I wish I had a number here. Okay, I'm messing this up. This isn't coming out right, okay? Not good, not good, not good, not good, okay. Okay, why don't I cancel this? Let's just, I will do the boundary stuff. I'll start fresh with that at some other time. Is that clear? Because my explanation is garbage right now. All right?
Okay.
So let's summarize. You have a decision table tool. I have given you an example of a decision table. I gave you one that was simple, and we went through the process of adding more to the decision table. Check. We have said for the decision table, each rule, okay, I'm not sure if y'all understand what in the heck I'm talking about, okay? I don't see it. I don't see your heads nod or anything like that. Do you understand that? When I don't see your heads, I don't know what I'm getting through to you, okay? And few things are worse just talking to yourself, right? Unless you're talking nonsense, okay? Let's clear this. I gotta get better at this. These columns that are numbered are called rules, R-U-L-E-S, rules. They define the combinations of conditions that trigger actions. When hours is less than 40 and, it's like an and, both of these are true, and pay rate is less than 30, you pay a person based upon the hours they work. When the hours is not less than or equal to 40, which means overtime, and your pay rate is less than 30, then you pay a person using the overtime formula. Third rule. What am I using? What word am I using? Rule, rule, rule. These numbers here, what is this? What is this here? What do we call this guy?
Those are conditions.
Condition. What do we call these guys?
Actions.
Actions. So we got 3 things we're worrying about. Rules, which are the vertical combinations of things. Rules tell you what to do, under what circumstance. We have conditions, we have actions. What else do we have? We have variables here. We have variables. You with me? These stimulus means inputs. Response means what you get as an answer, and that's pay. Are we clear?
Mm-hmm.
What have we learned? We have learned when you make up test cases, make up one test case per rule, but the number that you come up with has to satisfy this condition about hours, has to satisfy this condition about pay. And then you see which action fires. And this tells you what the expected output is. So you can make a test case based upon the decision table. Is that part clear?
Mm-hmm.
Is that part clear? So if I give you a daggone decision table and say, create some test cases for me, I would expect you to do what I just said. Is that clear? Now watch this.
Yes.
Let's suppose we all create equivalent test cases. 5 people have the same thing to test, but you're given a specification and you come up with 5 different decision tables, but they're equivalent. Should it stand to reason that the test cases you come up with are equivalent to the test cases someone else comes up with if you follow the same process? Does it? I didn't say the test cases were the same. I say they were equivalent. Say something, y'all. Does that stand to reason? Y'all gone? Y'all not saying anything.
Still here.
Somebody say something. Somebody. I feel so deserted today, like I'm on a desert island because I don't see you, I don't hear you.
My
Okay?
bad, Dr. Jones. I'm trying to digest this information you're giving.
Oh, stop it. Okay, so this video is going to be a piece of garbage because it's too long. But let's stop the recording in hopes we can get a video that y'all can tolerate. Okay, now the assignment, each one of you has been given something to work on. So you need to construct your decision table, okay? And as you talk to one another, it may become clearer to you how you're going to do it. But the process we've tried to follow here will serve you well. With that, I need to go because this is horrible, okay? Horrible, okay. Anything else? Now let's check on something. Did you guys get finished? This thing. Give me a second. I'm trying to stop this recording. I declare. Why is this so difficult?